On July 4th, 1776, delegates at the Continental Congress adopted the Declaration of Independence. This declaration stated that the 13 English colonies were now formally separated from Great Britain and part of a new country, the United States of America. The chief writer of the Declaration, Thomas Jefferson, wrote the ideals of the young nation and explained to the world why the states were breaking with the mother country, Great Britain. Throughout the 1600s and 1700s, English colonists slowly grew to see themselves as something different from English. At the founding of the first English colony in 1607, the English colonists of America were proud Englishmen with English rights. At the same time, however, the English colonists enjoyed greater freedoms than the people in England. In America, for example, many colonists enjoyed the right to vote, to choose their own legislature, and had greater economic freedoms than in England. From 1754 to 1763, the English colonists fought alongside the British in the French and Indian War. In this worldwide conflict, France and England fought over control of North America. In America, a young George Washington distinguished himself as a capable and valiant officer. Washington successfully led a British retreat after the British General Braddock was killed at the Battle of Monongahela. The British won the war and established itself as the dominant power of North America. The French and Indian War was a spark to America's independence. During the war, many English colonists realized they were different than the British soldiers who they fought with. Often, the British officers looked down upon the colonists and did not respect their customs and fighting. After the war, King George III and Parliament faced a huge war debt. To pay off the debt, the English chose to levy taxes on the English colonists. As the colonists were not used to being taxed without voting on it, they protested. This eventually led to the separation of the two nations. In the Declaration of Independence, Jefferson writes the ideals of the new nation. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal. The notion that all men are created equal involves a number of ideas. The first is that there is one creator of all men. Jefferson and the Founding Fathers believed in one God who created all things. The second idea in this statement is that the Creator gave all humans political equality. At birth, people were meant to have the same rights. One person was not intended to have more rights than another. In the British system, and in much of the world at the time, certain people in society had more rights than others. In the new United States of America, the ideal was for political equality. At the time of the Declaration, there were slaves in America. However, Jefferson's writing on political equality was his vision of an ideal. It is important for a people to have an ideal to strive for. Eventually, the United States of America would rid itself of slavery, and Black Americans would enjoy equal political rights. Does political equality mean economic equality? Some people have falsely argued that having the same political rights does not mean that a people will be equal in every way. Jefferson did not write that all people will have the same amount of money, for example. This would require the end of freedom, as some people would have their property taken from them by force. Jefferson continues to write in the Declaration that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. These are commonly referred to as the natural rights. They are natural because man has them through birth. No government gives man these rights. They are his naturally from God. The right to life means that nobody is allowed to take a human life. Murder is against the law. Liberty means the right to political freedoms, such as the right of free speech, free press, and the right of religious freedom. The pursuit of freedom has commonly been understood to mean the right to own private property, but it also seems to imply more than this. In most places of the world, in the 1700s, people were not allowed to own property. Property was the right held only by the ruler or by the ruling class. In the new country of the USA, the American Founding Fathers firmly believed in every man's right to own land. This right allowed a person independence from government and the ability to establish a family and enjoy the fruits of one's labor. On July 4th, Americans celebrate the 250th Independence Day by spending time with family, watching fireworks, listening to speeches given by military and political leaders, and by taking time off from life's work. July 4th may be called America's first federal holiday because on this day, our country established itself as an independent country. On July 4th, take the time to read out loud the Declaration of Independence and reflect on all of the work America's founding fathers put into establishing our country, as well as all of the sacrifices Americans have made for their country over more than 2 centuries. I'm John Degree from Classical Historian. Thank you for joining me. See you next time.